Those, including the media, shocked by Donald Trump's win, admittedly missed the mood of the American voter. Add to that the mood of voters around the world. Populism is a movement driven by people who feel alienated by governments they see as elite and out of touch. The sentiments that fueled the election of President Trump are being felt in some key European elections coming this spring. Scott Thuman traveled to Amsterdam to interview a candidate some call the Dutch Donald Trump.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
It was a mantra that made a rookie politician into president. America's disconnected voters found a candidate to connect them to a growing demand to take their country back. And the election of President Trump may be the spark that sets the populist movement on fire around the world.
Gestern ein neues Amerika, heute Koblenz und morgen ein neues Europa.
It was just days after the inauguration that a Dutch politician carried the call to all of Europe. His keynote, the same that launched the campaign of Donald Trump.
Wie schützen wir unser Land und unsere Identität von der Massenimmigration?
People have called you the Dutch Donald Trump. What do you make of that?
Well, I'm the Dutch Geert Wilders. I'm no Donald Trump, but there might be similarities between the movement of the people who are, once again, have a lot of discontent with both the former or even current administration in the United Kingdom and so many administrations here in Europe.
The similarities between Geert Wilders, the man running to be the Netherlands Prime Minister, and America's president go beyond the notable hairdos, controversial tweets, and almost identical slogans. His is "Make the Netherlands Great Again." Wilders is one of Europe's loudest and most popular voices calling for closed-off borders, a moratorium on mosques, and even a departure from the European Union.
So what is the next step then in this movement for you?
Well, the next step is that, as in the United States, it's a, as I said, democratic, patriotic revolution. Those are not too strong words. It's happening.
In contrasting the Arab Spring of 2011, Wilders calls this the Patriotic Spring. In the conservative seaside village of Volendam, the chatter among card games is about the ill effects of immigration, stale politics, and Wilders.
Because he's the best of them all. He says the things that others do not say.
Wilders is a semi-surprising twist in this country known as much for its openness as it is for windmills and wooden clogs. But there is little quaint in his message or his delivery. He has created a persona that has reached far beyond the Netherlands. When we were there, a film group was shooting a documentary on the politician who makes for political drama.
Well, never trust the press. This is my first rule. The media is dominated by leftist, liberal journalists.
Alexander Pechtold is a member of the Dutch parliament and a political enemy of Wilders.
But it sounds like sometimes your voice, the voice of optimism, the voice of inclusion, is being drowned out pretty loudly by the other side.
The other side is screaming, and for me, I'm looking at the same problems. It's of course more difficult to show that the solutions are not black and white, are not that simple as closing the borders or building a wall. Other politicians promise. So we have to take it serious. What's happening in the United States, what's happening not only in the Netherlands, but also in other parts of Europe. France, Germany, Austria, and even the Brexit in United Kingdom is in the same pattern.
In other words, the floodgates have opened.
The Leave campaign have won.
From last year's vote for the UK to leave the European Union to the resignation of Italy's prime minister, rise of the right wing's Marine Le Pen in France, and potential political demise for one-time champion of the refugees, Germany's Angela Merkel, in a tough re-election battle. Meindert Venema is an author and columnist documenting the populist movement and its worldwide spread.
Speaking of that movement, what about the fact that populism has become so much stronger, so much louder all across Europe?
The populist movement is directed against the elite for two reasons. One is that they blame the elite to have created Europe, and they don't want Europe. They want their own national sovereignty, like the British wanted. And the second is that they blame the elite for allowing foreigners to come into the country.
And while he calls Wilders and other strengthening leaders like him harmful,
if you don't like civil rights, then he is not dangerous. If you like civil rights, he is dangerous.
even Pope Francis this week warned against growing populism, comparing such movements to what was seen in Germany in 1933 and the election of Adolf Hitler.
Just as that movement grows, though, so does the criticism. It gets very loud. People are going to continue to say that what you stand for is hateful or discriminatory.
Yes. Well, never care about criticism. There always will be criticism. Just continue to fight for a growing amount of people that share our views. The vote of the people at the end of the day is the only truth that matters.
And Sharyl, Wilders and other politicians like him are going to be put to the test very soon. Elections are in the Netherlands in March, then France goes to the ballot box in April, and then all eyes will be on Germany this fall.
And how are the populists doing?
In Netherlands, winning. In France, surging.